Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is making major waves online right now, and it's available via Game Pass and Xbox Cloud Gaming. But exactly how well does it run on XCloud? Today we're going to be answering that question as I check it out both in multiplayer and campaign and give you my overall thoughts. Now I should point out that I've already played the game both locally and via the cloud on GeForce Now. As such, when I reference either or, know that it comes from experience. So how does Xbox Cloud Gaming hold up to those two? Surprisingly, pretty well. Now right off the bat, let me make it clear that when it comes to the visual department, you are dealing with a 1080p stream. That means a lower bitrate and not as clear visuals when compared to GeForce Now Ultimate at 4K streaming or playing locally. But I wouldn't consider it a deal breaker either, especially depending on what monitor you're playing on. If you only have 1080p as an option, then it really doesn't matter. And when it comes to gaming on the go, such as on a mobile phone, iPad, or other smaller screens, you probably won't notice that much of a degradation. And that's because a smaller screen typically hides those details much better. And by the way, by no means is Black Ops 6 an ugly game running on Xbox Series X hardware. The campaign mode still looks fantastic, has some epic cutscenes, and some jaw-dropping moments that you'll experience throughout. Though it does need to be said that due to the limited bitrate, you will lose some of the finer details in the visuals. This continues to be XCloud's biggest con in my opinion, but I really do hope Xbox will increase the bitrate and resolution real soon. But now let's talk about what really matters most, and that's being able to play the game. And this is where I'm happy to say that XCloud kind of impressed. Not only because it played well, more on that in just a second, but also because it was the most hassle-free launch experience. GeForce Now admittedly does take a little more time since you have to launch the game on the client, then it launches it on Steam, and then you go through the process until you're ready to play. But funny enough, it was much quicker to launch on XCloud than even launching it on my local PC. So in terms of just hopping into the game and being able to play, XCloud has this beat. And that's just something I thought I'd mention. Now when it comes to gameplay, I want to talk a bit about the campaign first before going into multiplayer. First off, because I played the campaign mouse and keyboard, and I gotta say that was extremely impressive. I have no idea what XCloud is doing with their mouse and keyboard support, but it works really well right now. I was left extremely impressed at how it compared to both playing locally and on GeForce Now Ultimate. Not something at all that I was expecting, as my last time checking out XCloud was on controller and it left room to be desired, so it was a very pleasant surprise that mouse and keyboard was this smooth. But yeah, in terms of mouse and keyboard support, I have absolutely no complaints. Highly recommend it if that's how you want to play the game. In fact, it may be the best way to play the game on XCloud. But now let's talk controller, and in this case I decided to check out multiplayer. Now you should know I play a lot of Call of Duty, both on mouse and keyboard and controller. That's to say I feel pretty experienced and comfortable in suggesting that it works. But it's not as good as local or playing on GeForce Now Ultimate when using a controller, at least not in my experience. Now does that mean you can't play multiplayer or it's not competitive enough? No. Even in the gameplay I'm showing you here in the background, I ended up with a score of 20 kills and 4 deaths. That's a pretty comfortable 5.0 KD, but it's not to say that it didn't take me a few matches to get accustomed to this. My first couple matches went much worse, and even here I was noticing that sometimes I would be overshooting. Now personally speaking, I do think with enough time you could probably adjust to this and play extremely well. But if you plan on hopping back and forth between your console or PC and then playing on XCloud, you probably will notice this. Ultimately, my conclusion is that it's really good and more than good enough for casual fun. If it's the only way you choose to play, you'll probably adapt to it and get pretty good at it. But if you really want to be a competitive sweat type gamer, then you're probably going to want to play this elsewhere. Credit where it's due, I do think mouse and keyboard fares much better, but I will also suggest checking out other services as they can offer 120 FPS streaming on top of it. Something else that would be absolutely amazing to see on XCloud, but hey, it is what it is right now. Wrapping it all up and considering everything at play here though, is Xbox Cloud Gaming good enough to check out Black Ops 6? In my opinion, yeah. At the end of the day, it works really well. It's a good enough solution to actually check the game out if you have no other way of doing so. Super easy to launch and play, gives you the option of both controller and mouse and keyboard, and honestly, if you are one of those highly competitive gamers, you're probably going to be playing this locally anyways. But for everyone else who plays casually, maybe hasn't played COD in a while and just wants to play with some friends, this is a great way of doing so. Best of all, you don't have to download 200 gigabytes of data onto your SSD or hard drive. If you have any remaining questions about the Black Ops 6 experience on XCloud, let me know down in the comment section below. Feedback is also welcome. If you're wanting more XCloud coverage, let me know down in the comment section below as well. Now if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out. And if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. This has been Steven from Anytime Anywhere Gaming, wishing you a great day, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.